Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be joined by two-time major champion Jon Rahm. Jon, welcome to Portrush. How are the preparations going and how much are you looking forward to this week?
Look forward to it intensely every year. Ireland and Northern Ireland have been very good to me in my golf career. It's been a lot of fun to be able to play here. Have done well in Portrush in the past, and have really good memories in Port Stewart. So I'm really looking forward to this week.
Fantastic. Well, Dan will kick it up.
You remember your first round playing links golf and what your proper links golf and what your impressions were?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Out of a question like that, my dad got a membership at that golf course. It was at Royal Singapore, and I think it was 2009 or so, British boys. And my first ever round was early on the week there. I think St. George's. It was at Royal St. George's. I think it was closed for whatever reason, so we went early and played Royal St. George's. It was me and my dad. And I remember getting to the first hole. It was downwind. I don't remember the length of the hole, but there's a creek short of the green. I pull out driver. My dad's like, might want to hit a 3-iron. I was like, no way. Like I was still young. I was 14 years old. There's no way that it's like 300 and some yards. Hit the 3-iron. Listened to him. Hit a 3-iron and realized, saw the first bounce and the second bounce and the third and so on. And it was quite eye-opening to start with, right? And the next hole was into the wind, and it was the complete opposite. And we had a fantastic day. I loved it. Had a good experience in St. George's as well. So my first ever experiences in golf, in links golf, was a lot of fun.
And then your dad joined after?
So after I gave an answer like this, we had a friend, and I don't know why this ever happened. He was already a member, and they reached out to give me an honorary membership. And he brought up the good point that I would most likely never go. So they said just offer it to his dad. He'll be here quite often. And I believe, yeah, that was when we played the Open there, and shortly after, he was able to join.
Question from Mike one over the side here.
Jon, on that same topic, talking about links golf, what are some of the most important lessons? You talked about the 3-iron and the driver, but what are some of the really important technical differences that you have to learn if you're going to be successful?
Oh, it's so personal for everyone, right? We all have different strengths in our game. Obviously, what I would think is the most important one, due to the severity of the wind, is understanding how to control the trajectory of your golf ball, right? And controlling spin rate for all those shots into the wind. I would say that's basic. The most basic thing you need to do to probably be an Open champion, and understanding how that ball flight would make the ball react on the green and on the fairways. But then there's a lot more around the greens, right? I mean, possibilities here are endless when you're facing a shot. You have more than the usual, right? Most of the golf we play nowadays, if you miss a green, 9 times out of 10, there's some kind of sandwich, lob wedge, hit it high, make it land soft, and hopefully it rolls closely to the hole. Out here, you're most likely going to have every possible option you can think of, unless you have a bunker on the way, right? And even then, sometimes you can putt around it as well. So it's too many things that goes into it to say just basics, right? But I would say understanding how the ball is going to react on the wind is obviously the most important one.
So when you talk about trajectory, a lot of people say, well, it's important to keep it low in the wind, but it sounds like you're saying there are opportunities to go higher. It's not always just keep it low, trajectory-wise?
Well, not always. I have to think through the whole course, but it all depends on the situation. Sometimes you do need to hit it high, right? Sometimes you do need to stop it. Very few times in links golf, but for the most part, you can use the contours of the green in the beginning. But I think it's on the 4th hole. If the pin is towards the left here, you do have those hills on the way a little bit. So if it's downwind, you definitely need that height to be able to stop it properly. Most of the time, you can use the ground to your advantage. But it's also, are you moving it left to right to left? Where's the wind, right? All those things affect it. So.
Number 2, please.
Hi, Jon. You've been playing some really good golf this year in the majors and on live. Just how close do you feel to your best game going into this week?
In a weird way, I always feel close. I'm always confident that I'm there. Last week, especially on Sunday, was very nice. It was a very good round of golf. It was by far my best round in Valderrama, and to play a bogey-free with really not, besides the last hole, never really being in danger of making a mistake or a big mistake, right? So, feeling good, feeling confident. Hopefully, I can give it a run again this week.
Joy in the front.
John, 37 years since a Spanish player has won the Open Championship. And we all know how creative the Spaniards can be around the greens with their shot making. Why do you think we have not had a Spanish champion in these 37 years? And secondly, was Valderrama a very good prep for this week?
I can't answer why. Obviously, there's been a few. The main ones, Ollie and Sergio, have had their chances, right? It's never easy to win a major, and it's never easy to win an Open. I can't really give you an answer why. I think the way Seve played, it's a bit of a different way to play in links courses. I think is one of the reasons why he was so loved in Great Britain and Ireland, because I don't think anybody conceived that was a way to play links golf, just hit driver everywhere and somehow find a way to put it on the green and chip and putt and putt. It was not normal, which is a testament to how good of a golfer he was. If anything, after that, I mean, might have been good short game among Spanish players, but none of us have played that way, right? I think Sergio and I are obviously more known for being ball strikers. Ollie, besides the driver, everything else was outstanding, one of the best iron players ever. Incredible short game, both Ollie and Sergio. It's just never easy to win an Open. In Valderrama, we had quite a bit of wind, and that's always going to be a very hopeful week to get ready for it. The other thing that Valderrama does, it's challenging. Every golf shot you hit there's very little margin of error. So it does prep you mentally to get ready for a challenge that a major can be. Not to the fullest, but it's challenging enough to where that way you have to think about it quite a bit, and with the wind. Obviously, there's differences, right? But in those two aspects, it helps.
Number 4 in the back there, please.
Morning, John. Firstly, I play at Royal St Ports, so nice to hear that your dad's enjoying the membership. I did see him there a few months ago. On Portrush, you've played it a few times now. Have you got a favourite hole out there?
It's not there anymore. Would have been the old 17th. Every time I think my caddy, Adam, is sick of me telling him how the old 17 used to be. It's like, because this is where the tee box used to be, and with this wind yesterday, the wave bunker would have been in play, and that was definitely my favorite when I played the amateur here. It was just striking. If I have to choose an actual hole that we play in, it would probably be the 4th or the 5th. I think the 5th is quite an unusual hole in links golf, right? It's a big elevation change, drivable par 4. I'm not used to standing on a tee in any links course and actually getting a view of the entire course like that, looking into the ocean. I think it's quite a good hole. And the 4th, just because it's difficulty and intricacy as well, I think. I've always enjoyed it. I don't know, it'd probably be the 5th over the 4th, though.
Sorry, Swami.
John, I know scheduling is very important for all the top players, and every time you tee up, it becomes a very important tournament for the player. But how difficult is it to wait for 8 months after the Open? It's now 8 months for the next major. I know the major is up the absolute pinnacle. So how difficult is it to wait for 8 months?
Yeah, luckily we still have things to look forward to in between. So it would be a lot more difficult if the second the Open was over. I would just strictly be thinking about the Masters, right? Luckily, we have some big events that also matter in between. I wouldn't say it's difficult. I don't know. I think we're so used to it at this point. It's just kind of what it is. I don't find it difficult, at least now.
Number 4, thanks.
John, you mentioned you've had some success playing in Ireland throughout your career. I'm just wondering, what's distinct about Irish golf relative to anywhere else in the world?
Well, I mean, links golf in general, hard to replicate it unless you're in this part of the world, right? If you're asking the difference between Irish and Scottish golf, I don't know. From what I've played in Ireland, I think maybe the designs, or I really don't know how to explain it best, but it just seems like they use the contours in a little different way, and all the courses seem to be in a way where there's a few more dunes, right? So if you take here Port Stewart, Ballyliffin, Lahinch, all those courses, it's a lot more, even Ballybunion, it's framed around the dunes and using the elevation a little bit better. Or not better, at you using the elevation. Like even at Port Stewart, you're going up and down a little bit more, right? When you're playing Troon, flat, as can be, Birkdale, flat, right? So I'm not used to seeing those changes, right? And if you play in Lahinch as well, you do have those up and downs, and you're going into plateaus, there's dunes in the way, you have a par 3 where you can't see the green, right? So it's different, but at the same time almost the same, right? It's just a different way of using the contours of the courses. I don't know if it's just the natural landscape or the way they decided to do it when they came over, but I would say that's the main difference.
Number 2 in front here, please.
John, last year at Troon, we talked about the charm of a short par 3 like the postage stamp. What do you like or dislike about a long par 3 like 16 here? And do you think we need more challenges of the long irons and fairway woods at majors?
More? No. I think when you find the short hole, we all enjoy the difference in scores, right? You can take 12 at Augusta, you can take the postage stamp, you can take 17 at TPC, right? There's so many courses in this world that have short par 3s that can lead to a birdie or lead to a big number, right? I think that's what it makes the hole a lot more interesting, right? When you have a hole that the main difficulty is the length, I feel like that variability is just not going to be there. You're going to see a 3 or a 4 for the most part and move on, right? So mainly because if you make a 250-yard par 3 with water and crazy bunkers and things like that, it would be probably a little bit too much, right? So I think in my case, it's just more entertaining, right? Because in theory, due to the length, we should be able to make par or birdie easily, and it just doesn't happen because the elements get in the way, right? So I just find it more entertaining in that sense. I think one of the better par 3s I've played was that 15th hole on Saturday in LA Country Club. That was 80 yards, and there was virtually no chance of hitting it inside 20 feet. So I think that tells you enough about the hole that was in theory should be easy, but it's not.
Number 1 in front, please.
John, Tom obviously played well on Sunday and comes into this week with a lot of form. What do you think about his game, and what have you learned about him that you didn't know before becoming his teammate?
Well, Tom McKibben should be really looking forward to this week, being a member here, being from Northern Ireland. Well, I mean, he's a fantastic young man. For a 21-year-old to be as composed, as calm as he is quite incredible. He quite quiet by nature, but even under competition, even when things go wrong, he just stays just as calm, which is quite remarkable and is an incredible gift to have for a young player. I don't think I can relate to that whatsoever, so I'm a little bit jealous of that. And I think it's going to serve him very well in the long run, right? Obviously, I think is obviously internally processing the same emotions all of us are processing, but he, outwardly, he stays really, really calm, and I think that helps him quite a bit. And on top of having a fantastic golf swing, right? I don't know what it is in Northern Ireland, but they have 2 of the most beautiful golf swings ever produced in golf, and he's a fantastic golfer in general, right? He's got all the tools he needs to succeed in this game. And so far in his early career, he's done so.
Brian, please.
Yeah, John, what does the Open Championship mean to you? And have you ever visualized yourself raising that claret jug?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, the Open Championship is the most prestigious event you can win in golf. For my understanding of the game and the history of the game, I think the Claret Jug is the most special one, right? And there's an order to it too, because it changes venues, right? So if you can win it in St. Andrews, I don't think anything in golf can come close to that. And then there's obviously different ones that have a lot of significance as well, right? But the Open, to me, I think it's what it is. It's the home of golf. Golf started in this part of the world, and it's the oldest championship we have, and that's what makes it so special. The type of golf we play, the links courses, where in theory is meant to be played, the elements, the weather, it's quite unique. I don't think there's a word to describe it. It's just altogether is what makes it so special.
Joy, please.
Just to follow up to the answer you gave me, I know you're a very aggressive player yourself, but would you consider playing Seville-like golf to win the Open Championship?
I don't think anybody can play Seve-like golf. I think Seve was the only one who could play Seve-like golf. That was it. His ability to do what he did in general with a golf ball is unlike any other, and due to his upbringing, right? I was very fortunate to grow up with a full set of clubs instead of a 3-iron, so he learned how to play the game in a very different way. If you were to guarantee me I was going to win an Open doing that, then absolutely I would do it, but there's no way to guarantee.
Louine, please.
Jon, with which other players could you have a conversation about the beginnings of the game? You obviously know its history. Who would you go and chat to about the history of golf?
It's not something I talk about with other players, really. I try to chat to some of the players that have played the Open quite a few times and ask them their experiences, right? Or see what I can see online, but I haven't talked to them about the history of the game itself. So I don't know. The main one I have conversations on both sides would be Phil. I spend a lot of time with him. When I can get my time around Chema, I will as well. But I don't know, it's not a conversation that usually comes up.
But has it helped you to know all that? Is that good, is that good background to have for your career?
I don't know, I just like it. My dad was a history major. I watched a lot of history documentaries growing up, so it's something I enjoy. I like history myself as well, so I don't know if it helps me or not, but I just enjoy it, and I think it makes me get a different understanding when we come to courses like this.
We'll take a final question in English before we switch to some Spanish.
Hi, Jon. So you mentioned a tournament you were looking forward to. Is Bethpage in the Ryder Cup in your mind, or are you able to separate it completely this week?
I don't know how many times I can answer yes to that question. Yeah, it's been on my mind. It was on my mind a year ago, and it'll continue being on my mind as long as I play golf my career. So yeah, the Ryder Cup's always... Obviously, when I wake up in the morning here, I'm thinking about this, but yeah, the Ryder Cup will always be on my mind.
Great. Juan, thank you.
Un par de cosas, Jon. Cuéntanos un poco tu idilio con Irlanda, ¿no? Lo habíamos hablado un poco en inglés. Tus memorias golfísticas aquí, mejores momentos, y también fuera del campo de golf, ¿no? ¿Qué te ata Irlanda?
No lo sé, mi primera memoria de esta zona. Vine con Eduardo Celles y con un profesor de la escuela Celles, que es Crisanto Amaro, y aquí vinimos los tres de paseo. Mis padres se quedaron y vinimos aquí a jugar al British Amateur, que se jugaba una vuelta en Port Stewart y luego otra vuelta de clasificación aquí y el resto aquí, ¿no? Y esa fue mi primera experiencia, lo pasamos increíble. Fuimos a Harbour Bistro casi todas las noches porque una noche que fuimos, creo que había 3 camareras españolas y con el inglés limitado que tenían ellos, y yo hablaba más o menos bien, pero ayudaba en ese sentido. Fuimos a cenar allí todos los días. Cuando volví al Open de Irlanda cenamos allí todos los días. Y bueno, no era Open británico, es un poco más complicado, ¿no? Está lleno de gente, pero eso fue la primera introducción a esta zona y cada vez que he venido he jugado bien. Ese British Amateur me clasifiqué, no sé si perdí en primera o segunda ronda, pero me acuerdo de jugar bien en general. Y luego, bueno, pues qué decir del Open de Irlanda en Port Stewart y el siguiente Open aquí, ¿no? Cada vez que he venido he jugado muy bien y... No sé, estoy cómodo. No sé qué es Irlanda o Irlanda del Norte, no sé si es la gente o lo que he hecho en general, pero cada vez que vengo estoy contento y tengo muy buenas sensaciones.
Y la segunda cosa, sobre todo los españoles ganadores de majors, ¿no? Siempre que hablamos del Open es otra cosa. Y más allá de que sea la cuna del golf, ¿no? O sea, ¿por qué es tan especial para ti? ¿Es un recuerdo de Seve? ¿Es que has venido aquí a jugar? ¿Es crecer jugando links?
No lo sé, yo creo que es un poco todo en general, ¿no? La historia que tenemos porque Seve ganó 3 veces, la historia del links en general, el legado que tiene este torneo. Yo creo que estas semanas en Irlanda son más especiales porque, entre comillas, ha habido muy pocos campeones aquí en Irlanda, ¿no? O sea, quitando 2019, el anterior creo que fue en el 74 o algo así. Al final es un número limitado y eso añade. Y luego, obviamente, como español, pues intentar añadir el segundo desde Seve sería increíble, pero claro, eso es fácil, no es.
One final question from the back, please.
Jon, ya hablaste un poco de qué es jugar links golf en inglés, pero ¿nos los podrías platicar en español, por favor? Las diferencias.
Sí, bueno, me han preguntado dos preguntas me han hecho. ¿Qué diferencia hay entre links? Yo creo que se referían al links de aquí, igual el resto de Gran Bretaña, ¿no? Y luego también qué hay que hacer en un links. Y bueno, al final todo depende de cada jugador, pero hay que tener un control sobre la bola, sobre el efecto de la bola y la trayectoria que es un mínimo, diría yo, para todo jugador, ¿no? Por los elementos, por el viento y cómo puedes usar los contornos y las calles y el green en general. También te da más opciones. No suele haber árboles por medio, en los greens la bola rueda, la puedes pegar alta, baja, como quieras, ¿no? O sea, te da más opciones que el golf que jugamos normalmente. O sea, que hay que tener cierta capacidad para elegir un golpe y luego tener la capacidad física de ejecutarlo.